Good afternoon and happy spring. Welcome to my channel. Today I am going to share with you my tea soirée junk journal with digital images used by CalicoCollage, and I coordinated the pages with Stamperia's Sweetie paper pad collection in both the 8x8 inch and the 12x12 inch. Some details are, it is approximately 114 full pages, as well as flaps and music sheets and so forth. I was particularly inspired after selecting this kit several months ago. What I usually do is I search on YouTube for other artists that have already done a junk journal, and I was particularly inspired by Carol Tinson and by Marilou from Porch Swing Designs. So you may see some of their hints of what they have done and my take on them, of course. Embellished textiles that I used are from Sheila at Bohodaydreams. The fibers on most of the tag toppers are from Purple Paper Mountain on Etsy. And there's lots of charms and beads and dangles. I used stamping sets from Graphic 45, the Botanical Tea collection, and Parisian Cafe. Also, Heartfelt Creations stamps and die cuts. You will see dry embossing. And I've got a lot of paper punched corners and some of the bottom edges. I've used some vintage lace. I've used some appliques, and all of the pages are tea-dyed. So I didn't actually measure it beforehand, but I will right now. It's the cover is 8.5 by 5 3/4, and it's got a 2-inch spine. So I did this little front design here. That was following my Altered Muse. I used those on some previous journals that I've done, where you just take the little frame and then you build up all your lace and elements, and then you add it onto your journal cover. And I just find that so much easier. I get it straighter, and then you can pick and choose what's going to fit the best. So I do like that. I used a metal piece of embellishment here, a Tim Holtz hitch post, but it's got the doorknobs on it. And then I did some tassels here. These are removable. So one is just a chain that I've attached each of the charms to, and I've used this particular set before. It's just really simple. And a fork and spoon. And then just did a bit of a boho tassel with some beads strung in between it. And at the bottom here, we've got some charms and beads. Beautiful teapots. It's rather on the heavy side, but I love that. I included some vintage or antique buttons. They're kind of in a shrimpy peach color, which seemed to blend a little better with the palette of pink that I was using on this particular journal. It's not very bluey. It's much more of a coral pink, but I do have some of the bluey pink too. And then I just used the frame for the front cover is glued onto Craft Tex, and then vintage lace. This is French, beautiful antique lace right on the corner, and then also another patch of vintage lace and the beautiful embellished trim. This gorgeous organza flower is from Renee Bouquets. Can't get that color anymore, which I'm sad about. I used coordinating fabrics for the outside and inside cover bases and just stitched them with pink thread. This adorable clip has a sweet little beaded teapot on it, and I just love that. So I did the closure just a bit different on this one. I didn't actually secure the ties, so it's loose. And I really like that free look. So you can just undo it like such. And the back cover has an eyelet on it. So it's just loose. I didn't knot it at all. So let's go inside and have a look. So here's the inside cover with a beautiful piece of embellished silk, an applique, and then I just love this photograph so much. I think I found it on Pinterest or on Instagram actually. And then what I did was I just put a pocket down here. And it can be journaled on the back or used as a photo frame. You can just pop a tag in here if you like. So another thing that I did in this journal was I included some personal photographs just to show people, if they're wondering what you can use a journal for other than just writing in. You can use all of the journaling cards, the larger ones for sure, as a photo mat, and then include just your small journaling on there. And you know, photographs are cheap to reproduce if you just get them printed off commercially. And if you find that they're not archival quality, just replace them after a few years. So here I've got a vintage postcard. Actually, I think this one is antique. It's dated 1910 and handwritten on the back. So I did leave the original plastic on it because it is so frail. And then this is one of the images from the kit. Beautiful image. And I included a photo from my daughter's wedding shower. We served an afternoon tea party for 25 ladies, and it was spectacular. Then I did these side tucks here with a bit of vintage music paper and just cut out the reverse images of these pages. Got some corner paper punching using Martha Stewart punches, and also on the bottoms here, the paper edgers. Here we've got some tags, and what I did was I just put a tea-dyed doily behind a little corner of the digital page that I just cut out. So we've got a small library card here with some stamping on the back, and this beautiful image from the kit with a cup of tea stamped onto the back. Some pink parchment paper. And I've just got an explanation of tea and Café Parisien stamp used there. Here I did the ghost pocket idea from Carol Tinson, where you use a second sheet of the same image and just fussy cut it out and then use that as a pocket for your tags. And some beautiful stamping, and I just used the page paper punch to make the topper on that tag. And what I did on some of the edges was just reinforced it with script paper that I have, ripped it and inked the edges. In the last couple of journals, I've gone for a little bit darker ink rather than the vintage photo. I've used walnut stain. It just seems to go on easier. Sometimes you have to really work at the vintage photo to get it to show up enough. And this little card is just stamped on the back. Lots of sentiments about having tea. And here is some die cuts that I just fussy cut out and stacked with a little spoon. And it serves as a pocket or a side tuck. I've got this lovely image. And also on the back of this one, Project Life index card. And I did leave them white this time rather than tea dyeing, just for some nice contrast. Vintage music paper and some Shakespeare, Macbeth. And then I've got these washi stickers that I used on a couple of these pages just to give a bit of interest. Some tracing paper. And then I've got some vellum here acting as a double pocket. So 1, 2, actually triple pocket, 3 spaces where you can put something. There's one of the tags from the paper collection. A cup of tea warms the soul like a good friend. You can always journal on the backs of these tags. They give you extra space to tuck away your secrets and your notes. And I love the line pages too. Great for keeping on track. And here I used one of the pages and then just separately cut out one of the teacups from a different page and made it a fancier pocket or bottom tuck. Here we've got a teapot on some parchment paper. Here we've got some embossed heavier pink parchment paper. And then I've got some lace on there and a Tim Holtz piece of ephemera and stitched around with pink thread. And that, actually this one isn't pink, it's just the off-white. And what I did with this tea-dyed paper was just script stamp the back. And a Project Life index card with a photo of some more food that we served at the afternoon tea for my daughter's shower. It was really special. Image from the kit with a teacup stamped on the back. And on here I've got some Emily Dickinson poetry. And on the back of this I did a fussy cut teacup and a tiny little tag with some vintage lace on there. Some washi tape here that looks like it needs to be glued down. And graph paper. And this sweet image from the kit. And on this side I just used a die, a very lacy die, and made a pocket out of it with some pink, darker rose pink scrapbook paper, vintage lace, and an applique. And then I've got this cheesecloth that has gold thread running through it, which I just used as tag topper this time. And then we've got from the kit one of the tea bags. I didn't put anything inside it, but you certainly can use it for whatever you'd like to put inside. And the little tag that goes with it. So sweet. Here we have journaling cards that I decided to keep together and just folded them in half and stamped it with Bon Appetit. Lots of space for journaling. And this journaling card is stamped on the back with a teacup and it says tea. This is from Heartfelt Creations Tea Time collection, which I've used quite often before. It just is so useful and in all kinds of different styles of journals like Alice in Wonderland, so on. It's great. Beautiful paper from the kit. And then I actually had some very soft mint vintage lace, and I used one of the images from the kit that was actually 2 large journal cards, and I just kept them together, folded them in half. So lots and lots of journaling space. And the charms and the beads that I used here are a big giant teacup and a teapot, and then some pink glitzy beads. Another teacup, and I made a vellum envelope here. Got some tags, and just put an image from the paper that I made into a little tuck spot. And I've just got some pink lined paper here that's folded and can be used as personal stationery. And this image, this is actually, oh, what's that line? The glittery one. Sorry, it slipped my mind. Sparkle and Sprinkle. I love that image. It's so sweet. Here I've got a couple of pieces of embellished silk from Bohodaydreams. This is a flip up or a tip in, whatever you want to call it. And because it's so sheer and floppy, which I love, I just put this tag, duo tag, over top to keep it in place. Stamped on the back and added another tuck spot for the tag on a tag. A cute little bead here, dangle bead, and some vintage lace at the top of that page. And here I just used one of the sentiments from the kit to make a tuck spot and included a tag backed onto parchment paper. On the back, pink parchment paper, inked the side edges. It looks like mulberry paper, but it's not. It's just actually scrapbook paper. Some vintage lace and a teacup die cut. And actually, I'm just going to leave that one in there. This is also from the kit. Got some more teacups that I used as pockets. This sweet little image from Heartfelt Creations. I absolutely love it. It's one of my all-time favorites. It really works well to create the picture and tell the story. Some more vintage poetry. And here we've got a couple of journaling cards, a big one on parchment paper. It says tea time, and this is from another die cut set that I have, a teapot, and this is some planner paper that I've tea dyed, and I just stamped the word menu at the top and done the layer on layer pocket again there. And this one, this tag, I just did on pink parchment paper. Now this idea, I'm pretty sure I got from Carol Tinson. If not, it was from Marilou. Just a triple pocket, actually a double pocket, 1, 2, using a beautiful postcard from the kit, stamped with a teapot on the back. Did some paper punching on the edge there, some Prima washi tape, and here's one of my heart tags I've done some script stamping on in parchment paper. And actually that is just cream colored cardstock. And then here's a tag with some fibers. And these sweet little library cards with some stamping on the back. This beautiful image here, some tracing paper, and the poetry and a vintage song sheet, music sheet. Here's another washi sticker. And this tag, what I chose to do here was just make a double tag without cutting it, just folding it over. And some stamping on here, lots of extra journaling space. And one of the journaling cards from the Sweetie paper collection by Stamperia. I've got a photo on the back here of my friend and I having tea, which we do quite often. Being Canadian and Commonwealthers, we're very familiar with the art of having tea. And I lived in Australia for several years and really enjoyed having different varieties of restaurants and places, tea houses to go to. It's just such a fine event or experience to share with somebody. It's just so relaxing and calming. And I made a little tiny envelope with a small teacup die cut. Tucked some paper from the kit in there and stamped it with the roses. That can be tucked away. Put something else in there if you like, a secret note. And just use one of the pages from the kit to cut the corner out, put a doily behind it. And here we've got another teacup. And what I did was stamp and die cut out a little tea baggie, attach the string, add a little spoon, and one of the tiny journaling cards from the Stamperia paper set. Here's another ghost pocket with a round circle tag. Some more pink parchment paper, and one of the images fussy cut out, using it as a top tuck with a journaling card and some stamping on the back. Here I've got a teacup and a spoon from the kit that I've just fussy cut out and then done some dashes all the way around just to make an edge. And this is actually a double tuck right there. It's this sweet little image again and a teacup stamped on the back. And here we've got the end of the first signature with a journaling card, and on the back of this photo mat, I put a beautiful cup of tea photograph and teapot. That's at the Hidden Tea Room in Lodi, California, which we've gone to several times. It's just beautiful. Second signature. Got another pocket on the left side here. Some journaling cards. Sharing together is our specialty. Bon appetit. And the sparkle and sprinkle stamp. And a journaling card, which I've put another photo on. This signature has a few photographs from some of our visits to the tea room at the Empress Hotel, the Fairmont Empress, which we've been going to for several decades. It's absolutely the experience of a lifetime. The food is exquisite. The scenery looks out onto the harbor and the marina. It is just absolutely beautiful. Here we've got another corner pocket with a script stamped heart. And this is a stamp from the Cafe Parisien from Graphic 45. And this one, another journaling card. And that is my mother-in-law, my husband and I having tea at the Empress. It's really dark. I apologize for that. The sun was very bright coming in and it just made the photograph look darker. Also, the server took it for us, so we're very grateful that we have a photograph of that because she has passed away since then, so it's been very memorable to have those pictures that we treasure. Another pink parchment page with a teacup and a tea bag. Triple pocket here with a long tag, a circle tag, and you could also put one more in here. Tuck something little in there. And hide this one away. I love it how it just peeks through the vellum. So pretty. And another one of the Tim Holtz die cuts. The best things in life are sweet. Here we've got a fold over journaling card with some roses stamped on there and another tag that I've just added some beautiful applique lace to it, stamped with Graphic 45's Herbal Brewage, and just done the tag topper scallop circle and got this beautiful French lace on here. It's just so exquisite. Vintage music sheet, and this page is from Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra with a washi sticker on it. Another stamped and die cut image of a teacup and another teacup and a spoon and a tiny little teacup with some vintage lace. And I don't even mind that you can see through on the back. Gives it some character. This idea, I'm pretty sure was from Carol Tinson. Again, it's a double, what do you call those? Belt. Oh, the pocket slipped my mind. But what I used was wallpaper. Tim Holtz's worn wallpaper to create the belly band. That's it. Only when you're video recording does that happen. You slip your mind and your memory. Some stamping on the back. And just ink the corners and the edges. And a round journaling card. And then what I did was I took some of the paper, like using this sheet after I had die cut or fussy cut out the teacup, and just used the rest of the paper for note taking and did some stamping on the bottom there. So sometimes when you feel like you're using up real estate space from your page, with all these extra pieces, you're adding much more room for journaling. So it actually just increases the usability of it. It doesn't always just hide the image with the prettiness on top of it. Here I added a flip out with this page. Just did some washi tape on the edge, some die cutting, lots of room for journaling. and some poetry, graph paper with the washi tape on the edge. And this little sentiment from the kit says, tea is the answer to most problems. Here I've got another image on an image, creating a pocket, ghost pocket. And I've added a little tiny tag from the wallpaper, stamped it with tea time and a rose, and added a little spoon. And this page, I just did a very large tag, and it's got a photo on the back with some vintage lace here, tea soirée. This particular photo, it looks like nothing much, but it's got all the different teas that were in a beautiful wooden box presented to us for selecting at our tea at the Empress. Very charming. And this gives a flap. You could tuck something under there if you wanted. Beautiful lace. And then on this page, I've got some of the paper that I just cut in half, did a long strip, folded it over so it can be used as a journaling spot, and just included a tiny little tea bag tucked away. And on the right side, we've got a stamped and die cut teacup. Actually, I fussy cut that. That's from Heartfelt Creations. I've had that one a long time as well. Pink parchment paper, beautiful image from the kit, some more vintage lace in that mint color. And then this is from the Sweetie paper collection from Stamperia that I just stamped teapots on the bottom. Love these images, just so beautiful. And the center of the signatures, I've used blue and green beads and teapots. Beautiful teapot charms. Love them. So lots of room for adding more photographs in here. You could even glue this down and make another pocket, or out the side for a tuck spot. Another vellum envelope that I've done here with the lined paper inside. And another one of these lined pages for journaling. Extra spots for journaling. At the top of the right side of the page here, we've got a little teacup and a spoon that I've die cut out, and it can just be used as a tiny tuck spot here, whatever you want to put in there. On the right hand side, we've got an image from the kit that I put a doily behind, tea-dyed doily, and a rose from the kit that I just added to that, and some journaling tags here with stamping on the back, and the pink parchment paper. So this one's actually a double tuck, double pocket. Can be used however you like it. And here we've got another ghost pocket. What I did with the image is I cut out a second page and just made a pocket out of it. Tiny wallpaper tag with the roses stamped on the back. And this is from the kit. Just a teeny little ticket that I stamped tea time on the back. And I used brown ink on this one. And rather than not use it at all, because everything else was stamped with black ink, I kept it because I thought it coordinated with this page so beautifully. The lettering on this script was in the brown. So it says botanical tea. And another die cut image of the teapot and the teacup. Some poetry. And another one of these rose pink dry embossed journaling tags with the vintage lace appliqué on there. And another tea bag. Left this one empty as well. You can tuck whatever you want in there, note paper, and a sweet little tag. And here's this double pocket. Got a postcard from the kit that I've stamped on the back. Journaling card. And another journaling, or part of the paper that I've cut out to make a journaling card. And these sweet library cards stamped on the back. Beautiful image from the kit. Tracing paper and another die cut. Looks like blue chintz. And a washi sticker. Vintage music paper. And another triple teapot, stacking teacup die, stamp and die. Actually, these I fussy cut out as well. And a tag that I've made on parchment paper. Another tuck spot with botanical tea. And this page I really love. I got this at the vintage market, and what I did was I bought some of the little cards that have little jewelry or hair pins on them, and you can use them as paper clips. So that's what I've done here. I used one with a little flower. It's quite snug actually, and this is just beautiful. It looks like it's done on watercolor paper. It's absolutely beautiful, vintage looking paper. This is some of my shimmer paper, shimmer misted paper that I've dry embossed, and added another photo on the back of Tea at the Empress. Beautiful china and lovely food. That was the dessert stack that we got. More pink parchment paper. And here I've got another piece of beautiful sari silk that can be written under, used as writing space there. Look at that embroidery. That's just stunning. It's beaded, so exquisite. This is the tiniest charm I've ever seen and used. It is a little tiny sprinkle donut with a tiny tag. And I just used this as a folded protector for the silk here to keep it in place so it wouldn't shift, especially so that it wouldn't shift into the center when I was binding it. Another top tuck pocket with a beautiful embossed journaling tag stitched around the edges and stamped on the back, and a planner index card stamped with menu at the top. And that's the last page of this journal. Here what I did, I tucked in this beautiful bookmark that I got at the vintage market. It's Pride and Prejudice. Just absolutely beautiful. It's done on that watercolor paper as well. And they included the plastic holders for the bookmarks. So I'm keeping them. I'm going to just keep that in there because it helps to stabilize the lace and the back cover. We've got a sweet little teacup here, charm. And I included this card because I love it. The expression is, "We'll be friends for life because we can't stand anyone else." So cute. And that's it. So I hope you've enjoyed walking through this journal with me, and that you're inspired to go make yourself a cup of tea, or maybe even make yourself a tea soiree journal. Thanks for watching.